Blonde, the new Netflix film that is out right now for you guys to go and check out. In this film, we follow the rise of a absolute icon in the world, Marilyn Monroe. This is her story. I'm going to tell you guys my thoughts on this movie. Let me know in the comments below. What did you guys think of Blonde? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Smash it down in the comments below. Smash that like button. Click subscribe. And without further ado, let's get into this review of Blonde right now.
Marilyn Monroe only exists on the screen.
Okay, so Blonde, the newest Netflix film that stars Ana de Armas as Marilyn Monroe. Now, this one, really, I'm just going to be straight up. The only reason why I was anywhat interested in this film was because Anna was playing the role. And after seeing her in Knives Out, after seeing her in the new James Bond movie in, what's the other Netflix movie that we're talking about as well that she's in? It's the Russo brothers one. The Grey Man. Absolutely loved her in that. Think she has a very, very high ceiling when it comes to potential to become an absolute world-class Academy Award winner. So having her name attached to it is what really got me interested in to watch this. I was like, cool, I want to see her do something that is very much not action-based, but more dramatic. So I sat down and I watched it. And I watched it. And I watched it. And yeah. How do I describe this film? Really, there is really only one word that can describe this film, to be honest with you. Boring. This film is really boring. I mean, I love a slow film. I do. I can sit through and love a slow film. Like Ad Astra, for instance. Absolutely love that film. And it's one of the slowest films out there. But absolutely loved it. I don't mind long movies. This one is what, 2 hours and 45 minutes long? I mean, obviously I watch Marvel and DC and stuff like that, and those movies are long as. I watched Zack Snyder's Justice League, which is 4 hours long. I've watched The Lord of the Rings, which is like 4 hours and 4.5 hours long. The extended edition ones. I can sit through them, no problem at all. Doesn't feel like it. But when I was sitting down and watching this one, the pacing of this movie is just awful. Absolutely dead awful. Half an hour in, I actually paused it and looked at what the time was, and was like, fuck, we're only half an hour in. Are you serious right now? It felt like I had been sitting there for 2 hours just from that first bit. It is so slowly paced. It is awful when it comes to that. What can make and break a film is its pacing. If you can have a 90-minute film and it could feel like 20 hours because of the pacing. You could have a 3-hour film that feels like an hour long because of the pacing. Pacing is vital when it comes to films. And in this movie, I felt like the pacing was awful. It was all over the place. It was dwelling on scenes that I felt like, cool, we don't need to dwell on this scene anymore. Let's move it along, but it didn't. But another thing that has the factor that made it feel like that for me is the scenes themselves. They don't mesh at all. The problem with this movie is it is the way that it was edited, the way that it was structured with the scenes just made it a jumble mess. I'm trying to figure out what the hell is going on. Is that a time skip? Have we jumped time? It's so confusing. We're just jumping constantly, like boom, 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 with no cohesion whatsoever. So I have and if you're someone who doesn't know much about Marilyn Monroe, you're not going to understand any of this. Like, I don't. I have never looked into her backstory. I just know who she is. But I've never known anything about her. And when I'm watching this, I'm like, what the hell is going on? Like, this is just jagged everywhere. Like, I'm trying to follow along, but you're making it very, very hard for me to do it. Also, one of the most distracting things of this film is the constant jumping from color to black and white. Like, I love the idea of a black and white mixed in with color. I thought Thor, Love and Thunder did that really, really well with the Shadow Realm, where there's no color in that, blended it in. I thought they did it really, really well. I don't mind having the present in color and having a flashback in black and white. I have no problems with that. But it's this constant jumping from black and white to color, like just constantly, just like, oh, we'll do a scene black and white, we'll do a scene color, we'll do a scene black and white, and it's just jumping. And I'm trying to figure out what is the purpose of that. Like, is the black and white fantasy? Is this what's going on here? Is the color fantasy? And it got really distracting at times, and I'm sitting there like, that's just not working for me at all. It really didn't work. And I feel like there's a lot of scenes here that you could have pulled out, like the scenes where we're watching her act in a movie while they're in the theater. Like, we don't need to see the whole thing. Like, just show us the important part of that scene and then move on. But they don't. It's just too many of those scenes that dwell on it. There's just scenes where we dwell on it, and then there is some good scenes in here, that like powerful scenes that make you go, damn, that's hard, that's messed up. But it didn't work for me. It didn't work. Now, a positive of this film is the performance from Anna. She is absolutely fantastic in this film. I thought she is the breath of life in this film. She is the reason why I was able to get through this whole film, was because of her performance. Without her performance, this would have been turned off completely, like within an hour, easily, because it was that boring to me. But she managed to keep me entertained enough to stay in there, and I thought she's fantastic, and it shows her high ceiling of potential that she has. I am super excited to see what she's going to do next. But this film, for me, just does not work. It is one of the most boring films I've ever watched. I really struggled to get through it. At times, I was just sitting there like, is this over yet? Is it over? It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate because what could have been great actually isn't for me. So, unfortunately, Blonde doesn't work for me, but hey, I'm sure out there's people that absolutely love this film, and that's awesome. Do I think, look, it's an R-rated film. Do I think the scenes in here are like, I know some people have been saying like the scenes in here are just absolutely like hard and like insane, very like hard to watch. To that, I would say, yeah, okay, I understand where you come from, but I've seen movies that have done like stuff that is like way worse than that. I feel like there's other films out there that actually deliver on certain things that this film had that made you go, okay, I need to go rinse off because I feel absolutely disgusting after watching that. So, but hey, there is some scenes, there is like sex scenes and everything like that in here that you might be uncomfortable for some people. But if you guys have watched like horror films and other films like with this sort of stuff, you'll be fine. This is tamed compared to other ones. So, but yeah. So overall, it's not for me. Just didn't work. So let me know in the comments below. What did you guys think of Blonde? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Smash it down below. Smash that like button. Click subscribe, and I'll see you guys next video. Until then, stay safe. Peace out.